So I want to tell you my fashion story and how I founded my brand. When I was 16, I quit my Catholic high school to go on a fashion school um, because I always loved fashion. I always loved the different materials, how they made you feel, how the different colors, the different moods and the different textures are so wonderful. And so I wanted to work in the industry, but I really wanted to start at the basics and learn the very basics of fashion. So I started working at a designer and I started to sew for her and I made her custom clothing pieces. But she also had collections. So while I was doing the custom pieces, I wanted to know who did the rest, who did the rest of the collections. And well, she took me with her one day. Um, and the problem was just that those women were basically doing the same thing as I did. They were sewing clothes. But just the things that I saw, how they were treated, and how little rights they had, and how long they had to work, and everything was just very tragic to me because I couldn't understand how different those girls were treated than me, because sometimes some of them had the same age as me. And I just thought that was so brutal and inhumane to see how with no human rights and with literally the tiniest wages those girls are surviving and being treated because no one seems to care. No one ever asks, that when I asked how it is possible that so many industry, like whole towns full of those prisons that they call manufacturers, and there are whole cities filled with them, and it was incomprehensible to me how nobody could care about that. And when the Rana Plaza disaster came and all those other factories and fires came to the news, I thought that was the moment, that was the moment where everybody would wake up and everybody would fight and say, hey, we can't treat people that way, and it is inhumane, and why is it that people are being forced back into an unsafe building, and in the end of the day it was because of the profit. It was because the producers had to meet a deadline for a big Western company, and it was all about the profit because this whole industry became super capitalistic. I realized that everything is just about profit and about keeping the show at the end of the line straight, but really covering up as much as you possibly can about how the products are made and everything behind it. And that's just what I didn't quite could cope with. And then when I started to dig a little deeper, where the materials come from and under what conditions the materials are made, even more of the dirt came to life because I realized how many of 23% of the chemical used globally is used for the fashion industry, and I feel like 100% of that chemical waste is probably in some kind of Indian river because we just dumped it there because we didn't care that this river is the lifeline of a whole country, and it literally poisons every salad and every vegetable around it and makes whole communities sick and die and have cancer, and we just don't care. And nobody's willing to take the responsibility for it, There's nowhere you can go where actually someone says, okay, this is the production making my clothes, or these are the people working for my collections, producing my collections, making my profit. I am taking responsibility for them, and I am taking care that they're being treated safely and that they're getting paid and that they have humane working conditions. And I just think it's terrifying that no one seems to care and no one seems to ask, because I don't want to live in a world where we don't care about other people just because they seem to be so far away, but they're not even as far away anymore, aren't they? Because they're like a FaceTime away or a phone call, because we're all connected, we all live in this global world. And I just think that especially Corona has shown us that we're all human and we're all the same, and we all have the same pain, we all feel the same way. So I just feel like it's really time to start caring about other people and taking the responsibility for their work for us, so I was kind of wanting to quit the fashion industry because it was just so not logic, and so dumb to me that all those people die, and all those chemicals and all this environmental damage just for clothing. It felt so quite stupid to me. I mean, how can we let people die and everything? But I mean, I realize I'm not gonna make it better by just quitting and just giving up and leaving the industry. So I started to study global brand and fashion management. And I've been doing that for 3 years now, kind of understanding fully the concept of economics and how to build a business, how big businesses think, because they have to make profit. And I just realized that this whole economic system is capitalistic and meant to generate the most possible profit, to be as efficient as we possibly can. But we also learned that in most of the cases, businesses come together and they outsource their production, or they partner up with other firms because they can do a specific thing better, more efficient, and in a better quality. So I just think that if big fashion corporations partner with subcontractors to make them their leather, or to produce clothing for them, then we should treat Lee exactly like that. We should treat them as partners, and who are actually bringing a lot of value to our company, and who are helping us producing and making dreams come true. So that's the kind of reality I would like to advocate, where people work together and are seen as partners, and are respected, and are treated in a humane and fair way, and that people just simply start to care. The big businesses need to start taking responsibilities for their workers, but I would really like to ask every one of you, just, can you tell me who made your t-shirt? Can you tell me under what conditions the product is made? Can you tell me where the fiber is made and how it's grown, and if the nature has been accounted, and if someone cared about how much water they used and how they're gonna clean it and give it back, or like just like the basic things, like, did you account the environment as an economy that is ending, and that if we don't change anything will literally just disappear and leave us with nothing? Did you? Because if you did, congratulations, I love you, I'm so happy that you're there. But if you don't, and if you don't want us to literally sit in our own clothing wastes at some point, because we keep only using synthetic fibers that are made of polyester, that is not only causing huge CO2 emissions, but also are not biodegradable and sit on landfills for literally minimum 200 years, producing methane gas. So if we don't continue in investing in biodegradable clothing, then we literally will sit in huge piles of non-biodegradable clothing producing methane gas. And I don't think that's a fun future any one of us wants to imagine. And the problem is, we are a global world. The methane gas will come to us because of winds, because of the ocean, because of animals. Um, we are all connected. So I really need to think like we need to stop. Like this is just problem of other people when we will be affected directly in one way or another, and we are affected by it every day because just by washing a polyester piece you bought somewhere brings the microplastics direct into your washing machine at home. So it does affect you directly. I'm sorry. um but yeah, that's that. So how do I want to change that? That would be the interesting part, right?